For coming right back. Wesley, go.
Yeah. Alright, good evening everybody. My name is Wesley. Today I'll be talking about LookFwd, which is helping us to look forward to something positive every single day. I want to begin with talking about something called, I like to coin flood anxiety. So when we think about floods, there are a few words that come to mind. The first one is swamped. Your daily tasks, you're swamped with an overwhelming amount of work, papers, for example. Another word is overwhelmed. It is like this donkey here. He's being overwhelmed by an insurmountable amount of work. Just look at that. Ultimately, between feeling overwhelmed and feeling swamped, flood anxiety causes us to feel trapped. We're trapped between deadlines. We're trapped between papers. We're trapped between projects and our work life. So how do we fix this? So the problem here is that, yes, it's true that we're trapped by these problems, but it's all out of our control. A lot of it's out of our control. Our boss may give us work. Our professors may give us some paper to write. What really stresses out us is the very thought of it. So I believe that people are stressed because they simply think about this too much. They have too much on their minds, much of which is negative. So going back to the flood analogy, we're sort of thinking about each as individual raindrops in a torrential downpour. You're always getting pedaled by all these assignments, and we're focusing too much on this. Instead, we should look towards something that we can control. We should look towards what's after the flood. That silver lining. And every single day in your life, there's a silver lining to look forward to. Whether it's a chat with an old friend, a nice dinner with your friends, no matter how small, that silver lining exists every single day. And my project will help us bring it out. And the solution here is that using text, we want to remove flood anxiety and get users to focus on something positive every single day. So using this phone and Group Flyer, know that this phone is not a smartphone, so it's possible to use with tech. I got a 78% average persistence rate over 7 days for students responding to text. And the key thing is that 60% of which of the responses was within the first 30 minutes. So how did I accomplish this? It was done with two programs, Text-to-Com and Social-Com, which was its iteration. Text-to-Com was in the morning, they receive a hot trigger. The first thing they see in the morning is the question, what are you looking forward to today? And people responded with a variety of open-ended responses. And here's a summary, it's just some of the few responses on our website. And it ranged from maybe a 5K race to something interesting like friends coming over for a bring your food and cook and show for your night extravaganza. That was a mouthful, but ultimately, things didn't quite work with this. Is that people didn't quite respond because it was open-ended, it was complicated, it required extra thinking on the user, and that's what we wanted to remove in the first place. So next iteration came down to Mad Libs. I decided to remove all the extra work for the user and make it as easy as possible. And this time, rather than set in the morning, it's set at a random time, so people have a higher chance of having the phone on them at a certain time. And the question was, it was a simple matter. Today, I look forward to relaxing at a place with a friend. So let's try it together now. I need some volunteers. In the back.
Relaxing in my room with my draw group.
So relaxing with a friend in the draw group. How about another one? In the back again.
Relaxing in my living room with my pets.
Oh, give me one more, sure.
At the LAN party after tonight's final presentation. With our results.
So you can see already, someone's looking forward to something that's coming afterwards. And wasn't that fun? Coming a simple Mad Lib, right? So what we do is that, let's go through a day in the program. So you're a college student stressed by pending final exams. And let's say during the day you receive a text, to look forward to food dish at a place. And that's something, let's do one more for this one, food dish at a place. Does anyone want to respond? Want to try out? Sure, in the red.
Jamaican food at coconuts.
Jamaican food at coconuts, that sounds fantastic. Afterwards, actually. There we go. So you like to remote and respond, Jamaican food at coconuts. And that's your text. And 19 others who are participating in this program do the same thing. And I text back a response to everyone, giving us a summary of the summary response and some maybe an interesting fact. So in this case, people like alliteration. So, Freud at Fresh, Kai Fu at Tai Cafe, Brew at Bob. And all these little responses can vary from day to day. It can be maybe the most popular one or the most wacky. So why does this work? I believe it worked because we place hot triggers. We ranged from receiving a text at a random point in the day to a question which triggers people to respond. And it was simple. It required only 2 words. Like, who doesn't have time to come up with 2 words? And it was social. It involved feedback. People found out what other people were doing. And it was fun, coming up with maybe a wacky noun or a wacky place. It's always a fun thing to divert yourself off of. But the ultimate goal we reached towards here was people thinking about something to look forward to. So the results, we had 20 participants split even over 7 days. And we had a pretty high response rate, about around 70% overall. And some of the feedback was, really resonated was that, they thought it was a nice break from their day. It helped calm them. And it was nice to take a minute and think about something good. And things that could have worked out was maybe have more exciting prompts, vary the prompts a little more, and have Mad Libs appear at maybe a set amount of time, so always at maybe like 12 a.m. So these are things to think about. Some of the insights. Some of the insight I got from is that text is a powerful trigger, and social interventions don't need a smartphone. You can use low-tech, normal phones, and just send out a Mad Lib, and people participate. And simple prompts really help response rate. Rather than ask an open-ended question, requiring the simplest response possible, got a really, really high response rate in this case. So if the next steps we can do is that, we can expand the fun. A couple CS majors can write a script, and we can generate a whole list of creative Mad Libs. It's going to be sent and automated over a period of time. Or you can take it further. Using this large script, we can also apply to help to get people to think about something positive every single day. And finally, make business, get employees to think about the projects that are moving forward in the week. Thank you very much.
Gus, you were the first one to say Mad Libs tonight. You're going to go first.
Yeah, I liked the addition here of using the Mad Libs for framing a mentality. The question I was just noodling on is, how do you use this in areas? You listed a couple areas for using it, but how do you use it so that it leads to other behavior that builds momentum? Because I think that these elements are novel, but I wonder about the durability. But I think it's an interesting on-ramp to get momentum.
David?
I really like this because it's actually not focused on behavior. It's actually focused on getting people to think and feel differently. So it's not like you're trying to get people to exercise or eat breakfast or so on. This is, you want to get them to perceive their life differently. And so I like to see that thrown into the mix.
Susan?
I thought it was also interesting from that perspective of getting people to think and feel differently about their day or what was coming up. That was an interesting perspective.
I actually had questions afterwards. I was curious if people found themselves more productive and/or if they had a better attitude because of what you were asking them to stop and think about. So it'd be great to follow up the research to say, for those who participated, did they see a change in their opinions, their behaviors, their success in doing other things simply because they took the time to do this? So I think this is great. I recommend following up on that.
Kyra. Kyra, you're up.
Yeah, and I'm going to Mad Libs. Can you hear me?
Yes. It
Okay.
was a little chipmunky for a minute, but go again.
Yeah, that's actually how I talk. I was thinking, why not go with just the classic Mad Libs and have them answer blindly, more bang for your buck. It's late here.
Wow. Okay.